Hey and welcome to Hank's True Barbecue. Today we're gonna do a real nice treat, crispy pork belly. Now pork belly, you may say, haven't you done that before? Well, I confess I'm guilty. I'm a real big fan of pork belly, it's just super tasty. But I always do it low and slow, which is like superb of course. But I haven't done a video where we make the skin really crispy with that insane crunch. So I thought now is the time to do it. So the difference is we're gonna cook it slightly differently, and I'm gonna show you how to score the skin and how we're gonna pop it to make it really super crunchy. This is gonna be good, so stick around. So the difference is we're gonna cook it at higher temps because I wanna get it done sooner. The nice thing about pork bellies is one of those, how do you say, odd creatures or different cuts of meat that you can cook low and slow, and you can also cook it hot and fast. We're gonna do something in between because I wanna bring the temp up quite a bit relatively fast, but we're not gonna take it all the way to like 2 or 3 internal Fahrenheit or 95 degrees Celsius, which I usually do to get it like melt in your mouth tender. Instead, we're gonna bring it up, but not that high, and then we're gonna crisp the skin. As for flavor, pork tends to really like flavor. I like spicing it up quite a bit. We're not gonna go hot this time, but I'm gonna add a real herby rub. I made a new one called Hank's Fish Bait. I think it's really good because it has a lot of flavor, good flavor. I use it for fish, of course, but I also use it for what I call white meat, like chicken. And pork is kind of like, in this case, pork belly is, well, not white, but whitish. And it takes very well to those herby flavors. So this is what I'm gonna apply. Also with a twist at the end, but you'll see. But first we need to start prepping the pork belly. I'm gonna show you how to score it. And here's the pork belly. This is what it looks like. Here's the skin on top. You can see all that bacony goodness right there. Pork belly it is bacon, only bacon is cured of course and smoked, but this is the real deal, so it's gonna taste really good. Now there's no trimming to be done at all actually. The only thing we're gonna do is score the skin. If you look here, you can see you have the skin at the very top surface, and then you have some fat and then the meat. So the trick to scoring now is actually to cut through the skin and into the fat, but not into the meat. Because it's gonna help when we make cracklins later. You're gonna see how it separates where we've cut it. So I'm simply gonna get a big old knife out, make sure you get a sharp one. I usually go like, well, a little over 1/2 inch crosshatch pattern. So start here, cut through, and when you feel the knife is going into the skin and through it, you want to make sure you get through the skin like this. Then you're right, but don't cut into the meat. And I usually pull it apart with my finger to check. I mean, this only takes a minute, but I think it's important to do it right. And the second one, because this is gonna look a lot better when it's done, and also it's gonna be easier to pick off the cracklins and eat them. So a very practical suggestion. But this is how I do it. And of course you can do diagonal if you want to, but I'm gonna keep it simple today. And once you've cut, pull apart, make sure you've gotten all the way down. Looks good. One more, and then we're gonna go the other direction. You can bend it like this to check. I'm kind of picky about the details, but I think it turns out better in the end. All right, I think I'm happy with that one. So time to apply the rub. Now when it comes to applying the rub, I'm going to apply it on all sides, and that includes the skin actually. There's a good reason for it. I want to get the flavors in there, but also the salt, because you want to keep the skin dry. That's going to make really great cracklins. So we're going to apply the rub. Now, all those herby flavors I mentioned, this one is really good, I think, for pork, specifically because it's made from lime pepper. And I keep saying that pork loves citrus, and it's really true. I think those flavors go really well together. So lime pepper, you have fennel, and we have some oregano together with the usual suspects. So I think this makes for a really good herby pork rub. So let's get started applying the rub. I'm gonna rub it in between these cuts I made, and I'm gonna apply quite a bit of rub in this case. And we're gonna let it sit in the fridge for a few hours before we fire up the grill and start smoking it. I tend to go a little extra with the rub on pork, specifically because pork really can take a good flavor boost. Get all the sides. I think we have enough on the cutting board, so we can go like this. All right, I think this one's ready for a little rest before we throw it on the grill. Grill fired up. I'm running at, well, between 140 and 150 Celsius, which is, what is it, 280 to 300 Fahrenheit. Got the thermometer probe dead center, so now we're gonna close the lid, smoke this for a good hour at least before we check temps. So while the smoker is humming along, I thought I'd explain the details about this cook, specifically why I'm cooking slightly hotter today and how does that affect the meat and the skin. Well, the thing is, normally you do a real low and slow for pork belly, that's what I usually do. But the thing is, if you're going to put it in there for like, well, 225 to 240 Fahrenheit or like 120 to 130 Celsius for quite a few hours, that means the skin is gonna go all tough and leathery. It's not gonna be nice to eat. So in order to get really crispy skin, we need to cook it at higher temps. Now the good thing is that pork belly isn't like tough and chewy as it is, so it's fine to ramp up temp quite fast in this case. So I'm bringing the temp up, and target temp in this case, like normally, like I said before, low and slow, I want it like melt in your mouth tender. In this case, I want to be able to slice it instead. So I want to bring it up above 60 degrees Celsius. Now, why is it 60? Well, depending on whether, well, regardless of whether it's unsaturated fat, saturated or polysaturated fat, all three types of fats start to render just below 60 at different degrees or temps, of course, but if I go past 60, then I know I'm going to render out the fat. So I want to bring it up with good margin to 75 Celsius. The reason for that is I want it really tender and soft, but at the same time still be able to slice it. So that's my target temp. And again, we're cooking at 150 Celsius or 300 Fahrenheit to bring up temps relatively quickly without getting that tough leathery skin. So as soon as we hit target temp, which is very soon, I'm gonna crank up the grill to get it really hot, like proper furnace hot. And once that's done, I'm gonna show you how to create those cracklings, basically pop the skin, and that's real quick. So we're soon ready with the cook. The most important part is how to create the cracklings. But so let's go outside and check out the meat, see where we're at. We've hit target temp. The meat has been on for exactly 2 hours, so let's take a quick look. Oh man, that's looking sweet. That's looking real good. Now all we have to do is make those cracklings pop. So I'm gonna remove the plate setter so we can get it up to temp. So, ready to pop that skip. Get the grate in place, like that. Now this is a quick operation because as soon as I turn the pork upside down, some of the fat's going to drip down and that's going to start a fire. So it should be like within 30 to 60 seconds. Not yet, a little more. Now let's take a quick look. Now you can see it starts to crack here. Just a few more seconds and we're ready. I want to make sure it doesn't turn black, so that's why I'm checking quite often. Yep, just a few more seconds, looking really good. There's no absolute method or attempt to do this. You're simply going to have to check, look with your eyes and see what it's looking like. Oh, that's looking good. That's exactly what we're looking for. And we're done. Check that out. So here it is, looking grand. Now the challenge is I'm gonna leave this for 15 minutes if I can, just let it rest a bit. And then we're gonna slice it and taste it. Those cracklins, listen to that. That's gonna be tasty. Okay, I waited long enough, time to try some of those cracklins. Real crunchy, good stuff. I'm gonna try sample the meat also, but the secret ingredient I use is, well, secret, I don't know, but chives. I think these go really well with pork. Extremely mild onion flavor. Not only looks good, but it's just a perfect complement for a mild type of meat like this, flavor-wise. So I'm gonna sprinkle plenty on. Oh, those cracklins are really good, nice and salty and crispy. I'm trying to slice through this bad boy and see what it tastes like. Oh, the pork looks great. Now you can see with all the cuts I made through the skin, it's going to be quite easy to slice this. Oh, real juicy. Excellent stuff. Oh, something tough at the bottom. All right. Anyhow, that looks good. Really moist, nice juicy meat, just the way it should be. So I'm gonna get me a slice and try this. Real good. I like this, the slice temp at 75 degrees Celsius. It's not so super moist and tender. I mean, it's moist and tender, but it's not melting in your mouth tender. It's still a bit chew to this one, so man, that's good stuff. All right, that's another real tasty way of cooking pork belly. It sure is a versatile cut of meat, isn't it? All right, thank you for watching. I really hope these videos can provide inspiration. And if you do like it, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the next video. Much appreciated. All right, see you next week. Thanks.